is Linda Hines, and this is my daughter, Stephanie. I am a living miracle, and I'm here to say that the days of miracles are not over. There have been so many miracles that have happened for me. By medical standards, I shouldn't even be standing here today, but Jesus made the impossible possible. In April of 2013, I was diagnosed with cirrhosis of the liver, which is an end-of-life disease. Though I never drank alcohol, I almost died at that time, but God turned things around for me. Then in 2017, I started showing symptoms again, and this time my kidneys began to fail, but I kept the faith. I was hospitalized many times and had to start dialysis. I was fast-tracked onto the transplant list. By January 3rd, my daughter moved me to Houston and took me to the ER. I was so sick and I was dying. By January 5th, I was listed for a liver and a kidney transplant. The waiting was tough, but Jesus never left my side. On February 14th, I was admitted to the hospital, to the surgical and liver ICU. I started continuous 24-hour-a-day dialysis. I had over 60 pounds of fluid built up in me because of my failed kidneys, and the dialysis wasn't working. During this time in ICU, the doctors were amazed at my condition and was not very surprised that I was able to hold a conversation. They said that there had been over 3 months that they had not seen a person in my condition that could hold a conversation with them, that usually people were in comas and intubated, but that was God helping me. The doctors would tell my daughter all the things that they predicted that would happen, including my death, but she wouldn't accept it. And she would say, I hear what you're saying, but it's not going to happen to her in Jesus' name. She said over and over, Stephanie would not accept their words of woe, and your faith built my faith. After a few days in ICU, I began bleeding internally. We stood firm that God was in control. Doctors planned to do a procedure the next day to stop the bleeding. They put me on nothing to eat by mouth or drink, so to prepare me for the surgery. But Jesus knew that something else was coming. Later that night, I got a call that they had my new organs ready for me. As suddenly as the bleeding started, it stopped. It's clear to me now that God was getting me ready for surgery. Jesus knew an empty stomach would be better for me and safe on the operating table. On February 23rd, I started a 2-day, very serious double organ transplant surgery. It was explained to my family that I might not make it through surgery, but Stephanie told them none of this was going to happen, and I received my liver and my kidney. You see, the sword of the enemy was pointed at me, but the word says, no weapon formed against you will prosper. My body had to get used to the organs, and many times after surgery, I was hospitalized because the levels of the blood indicated problems. My doctors were still amazed at how well I was recovering, even though I was hospitalized. I was told that out of the last 50 patients, that my surgeries and my recovery were the most successful, and that's God. I was able to come home in June. One evening while I was praying, I fell asleep, and I had a dream that Jesus came to see me. I found myself at the front door, the open door, and he was standing there. All I could do was bow in reverence and weep, and I spoke to him in an unknown language. I don't know what I was saying to him. His presence was so strong and so overwhelming, he just stood there and listened while I talked to him and weep. I don't know what I said. When I woke up, his presence was still so strong. I was touched by his presence. Since that dream, my lab results are normal. The chief transplant surgeon has given me a clean bill of health. I don't know why Jesus chose the transplant to heal me. Only he does. I've talked to him about it because I thought I was going to be healed another way. He spoke to me and he said, "What about the man I put mud on his eyes?" Jesus heals in so many different ways. Everything is for his glory, his purpose, and his plan. Knowing that death would occur, we prayed for whomever would be my donor, that they would be saved. We found out that my donor, Shane Powell Williams, was a strapping 47-year-old man, 6'6", healthy, and a Texas rancher who died accidentally by simply doing plumbing in his home. He completely gave his life to Christ and was baptized only 9 months before he passed away. This is the greatest miracle of all. I would like to tell you to make sure your heart is prepared to meet the Lord at all times. The Lord always, his ways are higher than ours. We simply have to have faith and believe in him, no matter what comes our way. Keep praying, keep talking to him. He's listening. And I'm here today because he is the God of miracles.